Hey, hello everyone, and thanks for joining us for Access City Council. I'm your host, City of Las Vegas Communications Director David Riggleman. Coming up on this show, a special ceremony to honor Officer Shay Michelonis, and a big food donation from a local church helps those in need. Here to discuss these topics and a whole lot more is the councilwoman who represents Ward 2. You know who it is, Victoria Seaman. Welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
It's always good to be back.
Good to have you on the program. You know, folks, you've probably noticed that we're at the point now where the CDC says we can take off our mask, we can sit closer together. And so for the first time in a year, plus longer than that, 14 months, we're actually a little closer together on the set here. So I can actually see a little bit better.
Right,
So,
it feels good. It feels
does.
good to get back to normal.
It does, and we're going to talk a lot about that today. We're kind of easing out of this after all this time. It's been surreal, but finally it looks like we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, thank goodness.
Yes.
Well, you and I both live out in Ward 2. We know the area pretty well, but for those of you out there not exactly sure where we're talking about, well, don't worry, we're going to show you on the map. It's the area out there west of the Rainbow Curve, basically. Of course, on the map, it's the area with the 2 on it, appropriately enough. If you live in that area, work in that area, then you are in the city limits of the city of Las Vegas, and if you're fortunate enough to be a resident out there, you were represented on the City Council by Victoria Seaman. We always talk about this, that area west of the 215. Man, it is really growing.
It is, and it'll continue to grow over the next 20 years.
Sure thing,
yes.
Sure thing. All the way, I keep our eyes on that, and it's exciting. It feels like the housing market's doing well. Experts are saying the economy here is going to recover faster than everyone expected. So
it's hard to believe.
Yeah, we deserve that after the year we've had. So
we do.
All the way around. Well, one of the things that we weren't able to do during the pandemic was have ceremonial items at our city council meetings. We had to forego all of that for safety reasons. We started again in May. We picked that back up again, and we picked up where we left off. And you were next to pick our Citizen of the Month. And so you chose a very special person. You posted this on Facebook. You said, "Today, it was my honor to lead the Las Vegas city government with the recognition of Officer Shay Michelonis as our May 2021 Citizen of the Month."
Yes, and his squad came out. It was such a special ceremony.
Yeah, Shay, of course, folks,
well deserved.
Yeah, he's the officer, the Metro officer, who was critically wounded in some social unrest that took place out on the Strip a year ago. It left him paralyzed, and so...
And he is in good spirits.
He is.
And he's just an amazing young man.
He is, and he's got an amazing family.
Right, and he's back home.
Yeah.
He's back home with his family, and they're taking really good care of him.
It's his father on the right there, or actually on the left now, and his stepdad, Pat DeVille, in the white shirt there. Pat, as a former Metro officer himself, and left as one of the command staff there. So I always remember him as Captain DeVille, but he was actually a deputy chief when he left. So
yes.
Good guy.
Very
and of course,
good.
Shay's biological dad there too, and that meant a lot to them. I think they were really touched that the city did all of that.
Yeah, because you don't hear much about it
No.
in the last few months, and we just want them to know that we're here, we're still thinking about him, and if they need anything, they can always count on us.
Yeah. Shay's had a long road of recovery. He spent some time at a rehab facility, I think it was in Colorado.
That's right.
And then, but he's back home now, and adjusting.
Family said he's doing well. He's in good spirits.
He's got a great attitude, and it was interesting. His stepfather had said he didn't understand why everybody was honoring him, that he felt like the people who helped him after he was shot, saved his life, they were the real heroes. But
well, he was a real hero in serving our community, and it showed by his squad being there, and they're still very supportive of him, as we are.
Yeah. Well, and again, that was our first Citizen of the Month in a long time that we were able to honor, and I think you picked a good one all the way around.
You.
So, and keeping with the theme of the police, we love this. You posted this on Facebook. You said it was wonderful to join the officers of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department Summerlin Area Command and the many four-legged friends at the Paws with Patrol community event on the lawn at downtown Summerlin. Now, I didn't really know much about this event. There you are with your French bulldogs. Councilman, tell me about this. So the idea was for you to bring your dog out and meet the police officers that patrol the area. Is that the deal?
Right, and I think that our Metro is doing a great job in reaching out to the community to get to know people in the community. And I told you earlier, I was playing matchmaker with one of the officers with our bulldogs.
Yeah, so that's good.
Yes, they love dogs, we love Metro, and it was a great event.
You know, that's really a great way for people to know the officers who are going to patrol their neighborhoods and do it in a very informal way. Everybody loves their four-legged babies, and so
And there's a connection.
Yeah, exactly,
So,
exactly.
Yes.
Oh well, that's really good. All right, so is that something that will be done
I
in
hope
the future?
so.
Yeah.
I hope so. It was a great success, so I foresee it as being a regular event.
All right, so that was Paws with Patrol. And for those that don't know, Councilwoman has French bulldogs, and their names
One
are
French
one
bulldog.
French bulldog, and they're
His name is Blue Theo, but we call him Bully.
That's right. And then you have another dog.
Yes, I have one we adopted 7 years ago that I
That's right.
brought. And amazingly enough, he didn't bark at the other dogs.
That's what you were saying. He's a little guy.
He's
too.
a little
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
And, you know, maybe it was because we had officers there with their guns on. And he decided to be good. But
was just being
He was
himself.
excellent. It was just a great event. And the other dogs there were having such a good time. And they were all getting to know one another.
That's great. That took place on May 22nd out at downtown Summerlin. I didn't know anything about it, but I'll keep an eye out for it in the future.
Yeah, you got to bring your dog next time.
Yeah. She's a German Shepherd. I don't know how well she would do.
She'll be fine.
That's right, but we'll just keep her under control out there. So, and then Councilwoman, one of the things that has been very encouraging is that we're starting to see conventions scheduled to come back to Las Vegas. We've been a long time with those having been canceled due to the pandemic, and you had the opportunity to attend the grand opening of the new wing out at the convention center, the new convention center wing that's been added. It's been under construction for a while.
They did an amazing job, and I have to say, even through COVID, that wing went up pretty quickly.
It did. It really did. Councilman, it kind of fell off the radar for a lot of us because no conventions were coming to town, but even so, work was still going on the
Work
expansion.
was still going on, and it is beautiful. It is state of the art, and I'm just so happy to have that new wing here. And things are really feeling like we're getting back to normal. Conventions are starting, and traffic. We can tell
it's
things
picking
are
up
pretty
again.
much back to
People
normal.
are getting back to work and getting out and doing things. So you can see that when you get on the road.
It's a
for
nice
sure.
feeling.
It is.
I never thought I'd be so happy about traffic.
Exactly. And I think it's really important to note that the convention center expansion, key because Las Vegas is one of the key convention center destinations in the world.
Yes.
And we always want to stay on the cutting edge, being better than everywhere else, the competition
I think we've done that with the new wing.
That's awesome.
It's quite amazing.
I haven't seen it yet. I'll have to get out there and check it out myself.
It is state of the art. They did a
good deal.
fabulous job.
Well, and speaking of conferences coming here, we're going to talk a little bit later on in this program. One of those you had an opportunity to not only attend but be recognized. We're going to talk about that in a few minutes as well. But one thing we're happy is that we were also able to reopen our community centers. They were shut down for 14 months due to the pandemic, and that was really tough. Our senior centers were closed, our community centers were closed. None of those places were able to open, and we're opening them up again. You were out at this end of April. We opened up Veterans Memorial Leisure Service Center, which is out in your ward, right there near Palo Verde High School. And to celebrate, you brought pink box donuts to everyone.
I did, and
there.
I'm glad I brought so many because it was full.
Yeah.
People really wanted to get back into that community center.
They were ready to get out.
That's right. So
Well, those centers are so key. It's a place where people not only exercise,
Socialize.
they socialize.
That's
yeah,
right.
exactly right.
That's
And
right.
when you take that away, we saw that at the senior centers. It was rough
It was
because
tough.
for those seniors, that was their troop, the people they would hang
That's
out
right.
with. And when you take all of that away and take away all their activities and have to isolate people, it's rough. That was a rough period. So, well, anyway, Veterans Memorial is opened up again. One of the features out there that we love is the Pavilion Center pool, which has been newly renovated and now is reopened as well.
That's right. And our sandpipers and our Las Vegas swim team, they're back in full action. So it's really nice to see.
Yeah, the Sandpipers, very competitive swim team if you're not familiar, and that's their home pool, if you will, where they train and have meets as well, right?
That's right.
Yeah, yeah. So the pool, if you've not been out there, it was under construction for a while, a couple of delays in getting it wrapped up, but it is all done and filled with water
beautiful.
and gorgeous.
Absolutely
Yeah,
beautiful.
it's that looks like a lot of the Sandpipers getting ready to go in that day when we opened it up.
That's
So
right.
that's a big swim team.
Well, that was the Las Vegas swim team too.
Ah,
so you had
so-
a couple different teams there.
Oh, I see. Ready for a meet. Getting ready for a
Yes.
meet. Ah, okay. Well, very good. That took place back end of April as well. So, boy, we were shut down for a long, long time.
Long time.
But you know what you were saying? While the convention center was being expanded during COVID, the pool out at Veterans Memorial was being renovated. So,
Right, and they worked right through COVID, and
Yep.
they weren't having swim meets during that time, so
yeah,
it was probably good timing that we were
Yeah.
renovating the pool.
and got it all fixed up, and that's just a wonderful facility. It's indoors. So you can swim there really all year round.
And we talked about that. That's one of the nicer pools in the nation
It sure is. It sure is. And you can see why.
for
It's-
community pools.
yeah,
Yes,
exactly
yes,
right.
Absolutely.
You know, that complex out there is great because you have Veterans Memorial, Leisure Service Center is out there, the Pavilion Center pool, and then the high school are all kind of in that complex right there together. So it's just a hub of activity.
It is.
Yeah. You can always find a place to park because it's a big old parking lot out
Yeah,
there too.
it's
So
huge.
parking
That's
it-
where we do our shredding events.
Exactly.
And other events because it is so big.
Exactly. Not going to ever have a problem finding a place to park out there. Well, we talked about conventions coming back, and this was really exciting because the 2021 Korean Association National Conference took place here in Las Vegas, and you not only attended, but you and your staff member, Dave McGowan, were both honored at this, right?
We were, and I was able to welcome them, and it was an honor for me to welcome them. And like you said, it's just great to get back to conventions. And, you know, the surprise was, I knew they were going to honor me, but the surprise to me was they honored my Chief of Staff, Dave McGowan. And boy, was that well-deserved because he has really helped me work with the Korean community. With our sister park.
Yeah, Ansan Sister Cities Park.
Sister
Yeah.
Park.
It's in Ward 2, of course.
It's in Ward 2. And just what a wonderful group of people. We really enjoyed being at the conference, and we've enjoyed working with them.
Well, that's really wonderful, and it's so good to have them back in town as well.
It
That took
is.
place at the Paris Hotel, and boy, it's just good to see that picture where the room has got a lot of folks in it. Boy, it's been a long time since we've been able to do that.
It
so
has, and the casinos are full.
They are. People are ready to get out and start getting back into normal, and a lot of people have been vaccinated. They're ready to go. So
And we're ready to welcome them.
yeah, absolutely. And let's put COVID in our rearview mirror. We are
Yes.
ready for that. So.
Yes.
And then, speaking of medically related things, Councilwoman, the Clark County Medical Alliance annual fashion show took place. Now, you have to tell me about this. I'm not familiar with what this is all about, but I think we've got some pictures of the event itself. And yeah, there you are right there.
Yes, this is a group of women who actually are in the medical field, and they raise money for different things. And this year, they raised money towards Alzheimer's. And I have to tell you, these women get things done.
Wow.
And we gave them a certificate of appreciation for what they're doing. And I think I've been to a couple of their events, and they are go-getters who just go out and raise money for different
Medically related causes.
causes, and it's just a joy to be around them.
Well, if they're helping Alzheimer's, boy, that's a tough
Yeah.
disease. Yeah. So families that struggle with that, individuals that struggle with it, it's a tough road. So glad that. And, you know, you always hear that with the help of people who are willing to support different organizations, that you always hear that, well, you know, we're really closer to a cure every day when that occurs. So, well, you sure hope. You sure
Yeah,
hope that's
we
the
do.
case. So.
We do.
Well, good for you for being out there. That took place back on May 1st. You had a busy day on May 1st. It's like you were all over the place that day. And these may not be in chronological order necessarily, but you were at the Medical Alliance fashion show that day. Now, at the International Church, which is in Ward 2, right there just off of the Summerlin Parkway and kind of between the Parkway and Westcliff. They had a big food donation out there that day. We got some pictures of this. I mean, that's a lot of food, folks. That is a lot of food.
Yeah, now this was their Farm to Table program, and I think they'll be doing it until the end of May, and then the program is, I don't know if they'll be continuing after that, but this was a great program that they did for months for needy families, not only in Ward 2, but they take these pallets of food. They have pastors come from all over the valley and take them to their churches and distribute them there. So these pallets of food, and this is for folks that actually need to cook the food. It's that Farm to Table program. And so we've covered everything. So you've got 3 Square doing the homeless, and then you have the low-income families able to pick up this food when they're struggling during this time. So it was a great program, and I love the way they organized it with pastors throughout the whole valley so that everyone got to partake in it.
Shared across. That's great. That's great. And you know, so many people during the pandemic, a lot of people were unable to work. It was really a tough time, and we've all heard of the difficulties initially getting unemployment benefits in a timely manner. So those types of situations where people could provide
food available.
No one was going to go hungry,
No
hopefully.
one.
So
And I love this program. It was a great program.
Councilman, that was a lot of food.
A lot of food.
And so Farm to Table, it's fresh food, basically, that then you're going to take home and cook up.
Meat, fruits, vegetables, everything.
The whole thing
everything, eggs.
In the box.
And again, I like the way they organized it so that it went to every section of the valley.
Yeah, that looked like it was about 30 or 40 pounds of food per box, something like that. Yeah, those were some good sizes. So, well, that's an amazing thing.
Yes,
so,
it is.
well, kudos to everybody that was behind all of that. Again, there's so many resources in our city. There's really, if food is an issue, if finding food is an issue, you know, we're going to tell you how to reach out to the Councilwoman's office before the end of the program. There are many opportunities out there. She and her great staff will get you connected.
And that's why we do these videos, and that's why we post it on social media, so that people will know, because I didn't know about it. It was happening in Ward 2, where they were distributing it out. And so it's very important that people follow my social media, and we have all kinds of resources.
Yeah, a lot of great information on there. And if you know somebody who is maybe having a hard time making ends meet, finding adequate resources.
We can always help.
Exactly, Councilwoman. Very good. And I love this too. You posted this on Facebook. You said, today we had a very busy morning with our breakfast buzz and Ward 2 biz at Rachel's Kitchen. And it's been a while since you've been able to get out and do these, but here we are out doing them again, you know.
Speaking of food, we do a monthly breakfast. We started this when I got elected, and of course during COVID we had a hiatus, but we are back to doing it. And you know, everyone is welcome, but you need to RSVP because we do have a limit of how many people we can take even now. So we, again, follow our social media, sign up for our emails, and we want to get to know you. And the purpose of doing this, as we always talked about, is breaking bread together and actually talking about issues. You know, a lot of times people don't know how to, if the issue concerns us or not. So all they have to do is come to one of our events. My staff is always there. And
of course, you're always there too, you know. It's very informal.
And we have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys talk about whatever needs to be talked about over breakfast generally, right?
Yeah, and you know what's nice is I always find new people there. So it's not the same
crowd,
people,
right.
But we get to know new constituents, and it's really a fun event for people.
And then Councilwoman, you also have the Ward 2 Biz, which is kind of the same.
Well, it's
vein.
Breakfast Buzz and Ward 2 Biz.
So Biz. So business.
So they can talk about the business and enjoy breakfast.
Yeah, so it's a good deal.
It's a catchy little thing.
Well, we have that information. It's on the city's website, on Councilwoman's page, if you want to find out when those are coming up. And,
because we do it on a different day of the month. And we do it at a different place.
Location,
we want to make sure that we include everyone in Ward 2 that wants to participate with us.
Those are such great things, because I think people are always maybe a little intimidated to have to come to City Hall. But if you can do it over breakfast or a cup of coffee, it's just...
In their ward.
In their ward, it's a short trip, and I can talk to you over breakfast, you know, that's no problem. Sounds good. And you're always so accessible to everyone. That's really nice. Councilwoman, you had a shredding event that took place back on May 1st. You talked about this. These always draw a lot of folks, especially seems like around tax time because everyone's getting rid of those old documents that they don't need anymore. It's got all the personal information on it. And there you are. That's out at Veterans Memorial, as you'd mentioned, in the parking lot there.
That was our second one,
Yeah.
back to back, because we couldn't accommodate everybody in the first one, coming back after COVID,
Yeah.
our first event. People were just waiting in line. So we decided to make it comfortable for everyone, accommodate everyone, and do it again I think it was within a month we did our second one. And I'm glad that we did.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people out there that needed to shred documents, and we'll do another one in the fall. It's a very popular event, and we know that Councilman Stavros Anthony
Yes, he
started
did.
this.
Surely did.
And how popular is this?
Well, he was a former Metro police captain and was over the unit that had to deal with identity theft. So he was really adamant to get rid of documents that have personal information that you don't need anymore. Don't keep them laying around. Get rid of them and shred them in a proper way.
It's much safer than your shredder at home.
Oh my gosh, it really is.
Pulverizes.
Yeah, it's just like down into little pieces of confetti. There's no way you could put one sheet back together, let alone a whole box.
Right.
So, but those are great, and of course we're going to do those many, many times throughout the city. We'll keep you posted on the city's website and on the council members' individual pages. We'll have that information on there. So if you've got documents, don't leave them laying around. We'll help you get rid of them and get rid of them in a proper way. And it works out really well because the company that was shredded, they use that stock for recycled paper then, and so it's a win-win all the way around.
Oh, it is a
Yeah.
win-win.
Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff all the way around versus just throwing it out. But believe me, there's no way anybody's going to find what you've got on your paper unless they can put together thousands of little pieces. So, and then Councilwoman, we want to remind everybody about your Small Business Saturday program. This is an effort. If you've got a small business in the ward and you want to help get the word out on what you're doing, Councilwoman will help you.
I love that program. I love going out and talking to businesses, and we film them and we put them all over our social media, and it's weekly. We have so many right now, we might have to start doing it twice a week.
Wow, really?
But people love it, and they look forward to seeing what business we're going to feature. And like you said, we learn about all kinds of new businesses. And it's so important right now because so many businesses were closed during COVID. So we want to get people out to those local businesses.
Yeah, support them, absolutely.
So all they have to do, it's really simple, is call my office or email us at ward2@lasvegasnevada.gov.
There it is right there.
That's all they have to do.
Yeah.
And you have to be in Ward 2.
Yeah, you have to be in Ward 2, and generally, if you're a small business, that's kind of the idea here. If you're a big corporation, you just can take care of your own advertising. But if you're a small business, Councilwoman will help you.
Yeah, and we make it a lot of fun. It's
You
not,
do.
It's not an interview. It's just we're having a conversation about your business.
I say this all the time. I live in Ward 2, and I've learned so much about businesses that I had no idea existed. Some of them very, very close to me, but dry cleaners and restaurants and all kinds of different businesses. And it's like, wow, thanks for telling me. Thanks to you. Now I know they're there, and I'll
And
look
there's
for
a
them.
new restaurant right in your neck of the woods.
Oh.
It'll be featured, I think, in sometime in July.
All right, I'll be paying attention
yes,
then.
pay
So-
attention. It's right next to you.
Yeah, we really love the restaurant one. I guess that gives you an idea kind of where my thought process goes. But, well, Councilwoman, we're just about out of time here, but we want to tell everybody out there, hey, we always want to hear from you. So if you have something you'd like to share with Councilwoman Victoria Seaman, you can find her on Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn. She's very active. You can also just contact her by picking up the phone. We still do that around here, 702-229-2420. Or send her an email. The address is ward2@lasvegasnevada.gov, and she or one of her great staff will get right back to you. So a lot going on. You've been very, very busy.
And we're going to continue to be busy.
I have a hunch
I
that's
love
gonna be
my
the-
job,
yeah.
and I love being out in the community, and I love Ward 2.
Yeah, well, we're moving into summer. We're moving out of the pandemic. So things are really looking up, and I'm ready. How about
And
you?
new
Yeah.
businesses popping up everywhere.
Yeah, and see, that's really encouraging because after the pandemic, didn't know what the economy was going to really look like. But everybody's saying, all the experts are saying, we're coming back much quicker than expected, and that's going to be good for all of us here for sure. So.
For sure.
All All right. Councilwoman, always a pleasure to have you on the program. We'll have you back in 6 weeks with another update from Ward 2. And in the meantime, keep up the good work. I know you're going to be busy with Dave and Christina and everybody else on your team, and Brianna too. So
thank you.
All right. Well, don't miss our next show, everyone, beginning on June 10th with Ward 5 City Councilman Cedric Creer. You can now catch all of our KCLV shows on Apple TV, Roku, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget, you can watch us live on the internet at kclv.tv. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We'll see you next time around.